Oprostite, govoril bom v angličtine. Dobro? Hvala. It is my pleasure today to talk to you about one of the newest solutions in the suite of Juniper Mist products, which combines in network access control capabilities, some of network access control capabilities, with artificial intelligence. And why back to NAC? Is anybody in the room who remembers Juniper NAC, Unified Access Control? Oh, Smartcom guys, of course. But it's long gone. So the bad message is that it's long gone, but the good message is that something new is cooking up, something new, I believe, exciting. But before we dive into network access control topic, let me draw some background regarding artificial intelligence, because AI is now one of the most misused, abused terms in the industry. So AI is everywhere, and to be honest, it lost its credibility, to the level that some people start to avoid solutions right now, which are advertised as AI-driven, AI-native, AI something. Yeah? So where are we? In general, in the industry, it's a long journey towards AI. So first were these reactive machines, like machines playing chess or some other complicated games. There are also limited memory AI, so first engines of GPT class had quite limited event of horizon, so after quite long conversation, statements from AI could be even contradictory. Right now, as the industry in general, we are on the stage of this narrow AI. Means that the model is clever enough to be called AI, has enough capabilities, but it's quite specialized. It cannot be trained in one domain and then use human-like reasoning to be experienced in another domain. We are not there yet. The purpose of it is for artificial general intelligence, human-like reasoning, conclusions, and so on. Artificial superintelligence is, in theory, in AI, which will surpass human brain capabilities. Another theoretical models, which are maybe in front of us, are theory of mind, means that AI is clever enough to be conscious, to be aware that there are another intelligent entities, human personas and AI personas, and to be able to differentiate between them. And complete science fiction is self-aware AI. We are not there yet, hopefully. Yeah? And what we can see that the moment might be breaking. One of the establishers of Open AI organization, Sam Altman, in the blog from a few days ago, stated that maybe in 1,000 days we are in the front of birth of artificial superintelligence under some conditions. These conditions are to have enough of human will. Well, that's plenty of it, but also little detail like compute and energy. Well, that might pose a problem for some time and might introduce some delay. But generally, the vision is compelling that maybe we are in the front of the new age of humanity, like that was Stone Age, like it was Industrial Age now, that might be Intelligence Age. However, there are some threats also. Another leading AI leading organization or company, Anthropic, designed kind of classification of safety levels of AI, which is resembling safety levels of biolabs or bioweapon labs. Bioweapon labs classifies labs in which viruses and bacteria are kept and being experimented, from most benign, like BSL-1, to the most deadly, like BSL-4. Following this, Anthropic defined categories like AI safety levels. And currently, they assess that we are somewhere in the ASL level 2, present large models of generative AI. Theoretical considerations are, for example, for ASL level 4, AI safety level 4. What does it mean? That, for example, AI will be able to replicate itself like a virus, or produce another AIs which will not, nobody will understand, or, for example, that misuse AI will result in death of millions of human beings. Well, we are not there yet, hopefully. But yeah, so this is where we are in generally as the industry. We are on the level of narrow artificial intelligence. And now, how we are using in Mist, in Juniper Mist AI. There are a couple of methods, of technologies, which make up technology as which we can call AI. For example, we use supervised learning technologies to calculate some metrics which will reflect human user experience in the network. It's calculated in a quite complicated way. Also, what we are calculating using supervised machine learning technologies are actions, corrective actions. So if there are some problems in the network, that might be conclusion, and maybe some action will be suggested to correct problem. Also, we are using in Mist reinforcement learning for radio resource management in Wi-Fi to cover with the location with the signal, not to have just good coverage and DBMs, but rather to have better metrics per user. And metrics, once again, they reflect user experience, how users are happy from the service level. Unsupervised machine learning is used in location analytics to detect endpoints, to differentiate one endpoint from another, even if MAC addresses are randomized. It's still trying to identify the single the endpoint as the same. And last but not least, generative AI. Yes, we are using this with our, to integrate for integrations with our virtual network assistant. It's called Marvis, and we can chat with it. Luckily, not talk, as I'm always saying. So we can chat, not use specific syntax, and show me some problems in the network, identify, for example, users which are unhappy, things like that. Or maybe help me search with documentation. And also this virtual assistant will suggest some solutions. And this works in the cloud, of course, because there is enough computing resources only in the cloud right now to train new models and so on. Not for, let's say, average or small-sized customers. And this engine controls, just as a reminder, what is the Mist product suite, our access points, Juniper switches, access and aggregation switches, and two kinds of gateways. And there are a number of services available in the cloud, and the new kid on the block is called access assurance. And now we are changing topic, going really into this network access control thing. What is network access control? There's, of course, a couple of conditions. Basically, of course, we are authenticating user. We are checking continuously what's the posture level, how the endpoint is secure, and so on. The problem with existing NAC implementations is that they are, like this slide, quite complex. Yeah? This is the excerpt from documentation of, from my perspective, still third-party solution. It's ClearPass. Yeah? And as you can see, in order to achieve infrastructure which is highly available and works in scale, it's a challenge. It requires significant resources. It's really complex. So how to deal with it? Well, first, we can ignore it. We can deploy part of our full solution and just don't brief, don't change anything. Yeah? It works. Another solution might be let's pay for third-party experts, yeah, but it's quite expensive. Another solution, become expert by ourselves, but it's not free of charge either, because we have to invest in our time, our resources to learn something. So not easy. So that's why this is one of the major obstacles and challenges which companies who want to implement NAC solutions have to face. So what's the proposal from Mist? The idea is, let's take this complexity level from the customer, from the end user, to our backend, to the cloud. Let's make up everything working in scale, highly available for small organizations as well as large organizations, and let's release it as a service, meaning that it should be really easy to use. Yeah? So we just configure our devices to be integrated with the cloud, and all the things should go there. This is the promise. However, as you can see, the definition of the network access control is very, very rich. Meaning that it's not only, it starts from authentication, of course, then we have client profiling, we have to assess from what kind of endpoints users are connecting, posture compliance, are these endpoints secure or compliant with organization security policy. Then, of course, zero trust network access, which is a good principle right now too, because there is no strict border of the network, and do also easy to use client onboarding to make a flawless onboarding of the new devices which users might potentially bring with themselves. To be honest, we are not there yet either, because we are on this stage, maybe also here. So the service, access assurance, which is available right now, at this moment, is it has authentication server in the cloud, so you don't have to configure any kind of radius and so on. Well, slide is not updated, so we should be also here. So we provide some elements, some integration with leading cloud-based mobile device management solutions. So it's started to be implemented and be available in the production. How does it work in general? Well, of course, this is component in the cloud, so this is all the NAC front end and back end. Under the hood is also integrated with leading identity providers. Some of these items are here already, some yet are on the roadmap. It's also possible to integrate the thing with on-premises Active Directory. What works on premises are, of course, infrastructural elements like access points, like switches. So for Juniper access points and switches, it's quite simple. In the web interface or API, we configure this, use Mist Juniper NAC. That's all. What happens is when the users are authenticated with 802.1x protocol, the radius communication from access points and switches happens with the cloud. But of course, the link between on-premises and cloud is not secured, not trusted. That's why we use RADSEC here, not plain text radius, of course, but RADSEC. Also, there is opportunity to benefit from the service for third-party access points and switches. How does it work? We need here one additional component, which is called Mist Edge. Mist Edge is not controller. We have no Wi-Fi controller, just as a reminder. But this is physical or virtual appliance which has multiple purposes. In this specific use case, the purpose is to act as a radius proxy. So the plain radius communication goes from third-party access point and switch, goes to Mist Edge. Mist Edge makes it RADSEC, and it should work. Now, there might be a very valid question. OK, so this is fine, a lot of promises. What happens if my cloud is not available? Yeah, because sometimes happens. Well, there are a couple of methods to deal with this scenario. For switches, of course, service is not available, but there are a number of ways to escape from this situation. So temporary authentication attempts may be put, or users may be put in specific VLAN, in some guest VLAN, in some server fail VLAN, some special purpose VLAN, until connection comes back. Then there might be change of authorization and so on. For access points, here we can also leverage the same Mist Edge appliance, put it, let's say, between, and this will act as an authentication cache for existing users. So at least existing users will still can re-authenticate and so on. So that's the way to escape from this scenario. Now, how does it work? Where's the value, comparing to some other products? One is, of course, that it's easier to use. All this administrative burden is taken out to the cloud. So first, we identify that's a common framework. We identify who is connecting from what and so on. We define policies where the user should be able to connect if they authenticate in the proper way. But the real value of this AI in Mist is service validation, comprehensive visibility monitoring, that we will be aware about everything what is happening in the network, also regarding NAC. Here are a couple of screenshots to give you just an overview. How does it look like? I'd like to encourage you to, let's say, schedule, or if you are interested, some longer talk, demo. It can be remote. Full demo means, including access assurance, is like 2 hours of your time. Also, we are available to be present here in Slovenia. I'm always looking for business reasons to visit this beautiful country, so I'm open for any requests. So going back to the screenshot. So here is a framework we can define policy. Basically, here are a number of criteria, including MAC address, the kind of access, whether it's wired or wireless, employee group, for example, from directory service, what kind of authentication, any certificates which are released by our organization or other trusted CA. And depending on what kind of authentication has been applied, user is either denied or usually allowed. And additional role is applied, and role is mapped to specific VLAN or packet filters on switches and so on. From monitoring perspective, this is true value of Mist, because we don't have to work on the raw information on raw logs. This is the task of AI to correlate events from telemetry information coming from network infrastructure devices, combine them in meaningful events, and present in the very readable form. If everything goes well, for example, we will see what were the events from the NAC perspective, of course, what kind of authentication and so on, but also we'll even see details from certificates and to what specific roles this user has been assigned. If something goes wrong with the NAC, that's also a task for Mist to present meaningful information. Events like here, we have not only authorization failure, but also we find, there is some certificate validation failure. What are details, for example? Here are the TLS server certificate, failed verification, failed by the client. Yeah? Please check CA configuration. Maybe certificate just expired. So it really speeds up root cause analysis and process of the resolution of some issues which users might face in the network. So that's one of the real, let's say, applications of narrow artificial intelligence in NAC product. So going back to summary, or going just to summary, what are the benefits of this solution? Really comprehensive visibility, and it's easy to use, easy to test. It's just, from the user interface perspective, it's just making few knobs, enabling few knobs of configuration and defining policy. All of this burden of this radius server, the integration with directory services is taken out just to the cloud. And it's built, it's prepared for large scale as well as for small organizations, which sometimes cannot afford too sophisticated configuration. And there are more and more interesting news coming from Mist, from Juniper Mist, because NAC is just one of the manifestations. Now we also integrate with AI, with this Marvis virtual assistant data center and our abstract product. Routing, it's not configuration routers from Mist Web UI. However, this is watching for logic. Do we get everything which we should from our BGP peers, for example? It's worth also to check. And the newest announcement, which should happen, I think, right now or in a days, will be integration with our security portfolio. So getting into Mist some security visibility as well. So a lot of interesting things are coming right now. Marvis Minis, for example, which is here on the bottom. It's kind of testing bot, which automatically from each and every access point releases series of tests. So if we broken something in the configuration, we'll get known by the system, not by the users. Thanks to these features, we are leading the pack of vendors who are leaders according to Gartner in wired and wireless. Consecutively since 5 years, I believe. For the rest of the things which are covered by Mist, we are not this so-called square of shame, so this either solutions are leading or just good. Yeah. And with it, let me conclude the presentation. Chwała wam najlepsza.